Hey everyone, Editor Ian here at the beginning with a quick content warning. I realized as we started getting into it that once we get to the Dragons of the Abyss around the 33-minute mark, there is quite a bit of body horror elements coming out. So if those sorts of things make you uncomfortable, make you a bit squeamish, feel free to cut off after the first two dragons that we talk about, as the three dragons that we're going to be talking about in the Abyss do have some body horror, body modification elements to them that some people might be uncomfortable with. With that out of the way, let's get into the episode proper. Hello and welcome to Undercommon Taste. This is a podcast where we create and discuss homebrew content for tabletop RPGs.
I'm Pet That Dog.
I'm Ian Woodworth. I'm joined by my co-host James Daly, and today we are going to be talking about the rest of the extraplanar dragons from the lower planes of D&D cosmology. This one is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode because the remainder of these dragons don't really have a huge amount of published material on them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say they were thrown here as placeholders. They were definitely content fillers for Dragon Magazine, I would say. That said, definitely stuff to work with, and maybe something to revisit for like future things to kind of flesh out a bit more.
Yeah, that's one of the first things that I did notice is that 3 of these 5 dragons made their first appearance in Dragon Magazine. The 3 that are 3rd edition dragons.
Yeah.
The other 2 appeared in 4th edition, which is why we've probably never heard of them.
Yeah, the Dark Times.
Because none of these dragons are seen outside of the edition that they were introduced in.
Yeah.
None of them have been republished, aside from the fact that all the Dragon Magazine ones were republished in the 3rd edition Draconomicon.
Which, again, if you can find that text online or even at a used bookstore, that is a really, really solid D&D book to have.
Yeah, it's a great book. I love having it. I've got a PDF copy of it myself, so. All right, well, let's just go ahead and dive right in, I guess.
Let's do it.
No time like the present. So we've got 3 planes that we're going to be talking about dragons today. We've got Pandemonium, we've got Carceri, and we've got the Abyss. Despite the fact that we did last episode starting in one and moving sequentially through, I think today we're going to do the bookends and then hit the Abyss, which is in the middle, last, because 3 of the 5 dragons are found in the Abyss.
Okay.
So we're going to start off in the windswept depths of Pandemonium with Howling Dragons.
Now, again, when we talked about Pandemonium, this was one of those planes where it's super interesting, but we left feeling a little squicky afterwards.
A little bit less about Pandemonium than some of the others.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but again, this is where you kind of get that constant like wind chime, wind tunnel sound. And we posted, if I recall, it was an image from... There was an art project, I want to say was it in South America? I forget where it was, but they built a giant tower of tubes. So no matter which direction the wind was blowing, it'd start howling because it'd catch the wind and act like this large, I don't want to say flute, but that's basically kind of was like a weird wind pipe that no matter what, it would cause this sound to emanate from this thing.
That's Pandemonium.
It
really is. It's a series of cavern tunnels. It's the whole plane is sort of bored through with these tunnels, and the tunnels get tighter and smaller and more confined the further down the layers you go, until you get down to the bottom layer when it's just pockets in stone that are not connected to one another. And so the lowest level of Pandemonium is one of those where you can't really go there unless you are going to a specific pocket that you know where it is, because there's no way to get there otherwise.
This is not a dragon, nor is it dragon related, but I think I heard the whisper of a muse. Because Pandemonium is it lawful evil or chaotic evil?
Oh, this is chaotic. This is between the chaotic evil plane of the Abyss and the chaotic neutral plane of Limbo. Okay. So it is lightly evil. It is mostly chaos and diet evil.
Yeah, so again, with that raging, particularly of chaos, this would be a great place to make a counter species to the Formians where it's just termites. And these are termite tunnels through Pandemonium causing these howling winds as they go through.
Yeah. I mean, that fits.
Yeah.
Because there is no indication of what actually caused them.
Right.
They are maintained by erosion because the winds that howl through here pick up all the grit and just sandblast everything.
Good times.
Oh, yeah.
This sounds like an over-sensory vacation between the sound and the texture, and yeah.
I mean, there is a reason why in 2nd edition Planescape, if you went into Pandemonium, you had to make wisdom saves very regularly, and the instant you failed one, you got a madness.
Yeah, I was going to say, and as a DM fiat, everyone immediately gets wet socks.
Potentially.
Oh, wet socks? That seriously, that is one of the worst feelings. Like, wet shoes and socks is the worst feeling in the world.
I mean, it's bad. I won't say that it's the worst. I think fine sand in your shoes is worse.
Oh, maybe.
But no, we're not gonna sit here and debate sensory issues tonight, James.
Are you sure?
We're already getting off topic.
Hey, look, a rabbit trail.
So back to the dragons. So howling dragons.
Nothing.
Sorry?
It's a short episode, nothing.
Don't you go padding the episode length just to prove me wrong? Jeez. So due to this insanity-inducing howling wind that is just constant here in the plane of Pandemonium, howling dragons are described as being, quote, brilliant, scheming, and quite insane.
I can feel these guys.
Yeah. I like my analogy of they're nuttier than peanut brittle.
Yeah.
They are just absolutely whack.
Yes. Like these for me, their personality, and as many times as it's been done and as many variations, to me, this would be the personality of what the Joker from DC Comics should be. The Joker was clever. The Joker was extremely conniving. The Joker was very, very smart. He was just 13 degrees off the normal. He was way off of there. But he had that wit. He had that ability to plot and strategize. There was just no reason behind what he was doing to a normal person.
Right. So the old adage of brilliance and madness are opposite sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
The Joker's coin landed on edge.
Yes, absolutely. And same with these guys.
Yeah. In my opinion, they give off feral chihuahua vibes.
I could see that.
Because they are smaller. They're one of the smallest dragons because, the confines of the plane of Pandemonium, these tunnels are small. Okay. They have to be able to squeeze through them. And they also have a willingness to eat anything that moves.
I kind of want to see a giant chihuahua head with the ears and the big bulgy eyes on a dragon body.
I mean, that's pretty much the artwork for these things.
Nice.
They've got these scrawny limbs, these pale lavender purple scales, and this crest of these fuchsia spines that come off around their neck, and then they come off the backside of their front legs and run down their spine.
Okay.
If their temperament is feral chihuahua, their appearance is the Chinese crested world's ugliest dog competition vibes.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally get that.
And of course, the description of them says that they have oversized yellow eyes with tiny pupils, even though the artwork has them with red eyes. So
yeah, no, I think the yellow eyes with tiny pupils definitely pulls into the mental image I got. Yeah.
Yeah, because you need those, is it myopic when you're contracted rather than dilated?
Yeah.
So you need those myopic bulging yellow eyes to really drive home that there's no lights on at home. But going back to this whole willingness to eat anything that moves, really, that applies. They will even eat undead and constructs.
That's impressive.
If it moves, they will try to eat it.
I like it.
On the flip side, it seems like if it doesn't move, they're not sane enough to realize that it could be food.
Okay.
And so It's kind of like the thing with koalas. So koalas, if you're going to feed a koala eucalyptus, the leaves have to be on the stick.
Okay.
Because otherwise, their smooth brains are such that they cannot recognize that eucalyptus leaves are food. It has to be in the context of it being on a stick.
I did not know that. That's hilarious.
Yes.
I was thinking more like the scene from Jurassic Park where the guy's trying to stand still because he thinks the T-Rex won't see him because he's not moving.
Yeah, but if you were to present a koala with a bowl full of eucalyptus leaves, it would starve to death before it ate them.
There we go.
Yeah.
It just might give you chlamydia.
Yeah. There are so many things going on with koalas. They should not have survived this long.
And they make their own alcohol in their gut, just because. Like, hey, I'm going to brew my own stuff in my belly.
Well, they just about have to because they basically don't have a gut.
Yeah.
They've basically straight piped their digestive system. Anyway, enough about koalas. We're not here to talk about koalas today.
We're not talking about koalas. We're not talking about sensory stuff. Jeez.
Anyway, since the entire plane of Pandemonium is effectively a giant labyrinthine cavern complex, if howling dragons ever make it to the material plane, they seek out the same sort of topography to layer in. So naturally, they're going to be finding their way to, say, extinct volcanoes going into the lava tubes. They're going to be finding porous sandstone geology that's, interspersed with fresh water that has carved out all of these underground caverns. But I think that an interesting use for them would be if you happen to have a very large city or a mega city in your setting, having a howling dragon move into the sewer system.
That would make sense. I like that. I'm kind of getting like Diablo, like Luskin feels with that, which would, again, that would fit very well. When I was going over this, the two things I quickly thought of would be more like the sewer feel has a really good, or like if you've ever been to like the downtown New York or Los Angeles, where you have all of those skyscrapers, you can definitely hear the wind whip around those at times, which would be really interesting. Or if you took the concept of this and then you took it and you folded it into a cyberpunk setting, this howling dragon could definitely be like a rogue AI going through like maybe the old quote quote GeoCities Angel Fires part of the internet, like the old forgotten relics of whatever your cyberspace is.
Yeah, I can see that. Another thing that I want to point out is that in 2nd edition Planescape, if you acquired your unique madness, because if you got insane, you rolled on a D100 table to figure out what flavor of insane you got. But after you got your insanity, if you ever left Pandemonium, after a short amount of time, your insanity would dissipate. It would go away.
Okay.
Until you went back to Pandemonium. And then the instant you set foot back in Pandemonium, it would fire back up.
Okay.
Given that that's the case, I would even go so far as to say that a howling dragon that made it into the material plane would end up becoming sane.
Ooh, maybe, yeah.
Would end up being just like completely normal in the head. Because the insanity
I like it kind of crazy.
I mean, I like it kind of crazy too, but, or at least make it to where they're just oddball crazy as opposed to, homicidal rage crazy.
Fair. Okay, no, that's fair. I like that.
I mean, make them quirky.
Yeah. Okay, give them a little bit more reason behind their madness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's the lingering after effects. I mean, because they are native to the plane, so it never truly goes away.
Oh, okay.
But when the stimulus is gone, they are able to ignore the worst part of it.
Okay, so buckle up, ride with me, okay?
Okay.
You're going through, you're in your city sewers, you find this howling dragon, you encounter whatever layer and whatever you have to get up to it. You realize the dragon one has PTSD. That is part of its lingering madness. And beyond anything, it is terrified that the adventurers are going to dispel it back to Pandemonium. So it is fighting tooth and nail to stay within the material plane.
Yeah, that would definitely be a way to play it. I had an idea and it just sort of dissipated. So yeah, they definitely, because the Howling Dragons have had all vibes for me so far. The vibe that I get off of them with that, living in the sewers setting is they're basically the New York City sewer gators.
Someone flushed their baby Howling Dragon hatchling.
Yes. Yeah, like somebody smuggled a Howling Dragon egg out of Pandemonium and it hatched and it just got to be too much for them. And so they just dumped it in the sewer.
This is absolutely the sewers of Sigil. Or Sigil.
Absolutely, yeah. This could be the sewer system of Sigil. There's a Howling Dragon living in the sewers in Sigil.
I like it.
Yeah, running around eating cranium rats.
It absolutely would have a tribe of kobolds with it as well.
Eventually.
Eventually, yeah. Though again, the kobolds, because it might just snap up a kobold on occasion just because you're moving and it's hungry. But
yeah, and if the kobolds are just like overstimulating it,
yeah,
like if the kobolds are making too much noise, it eats a kobold to shut them up.
Yes,
because by default, it is skewed slightly towards evil, so that is within the realm of the chaos that they would do naturally.
Right.
So moving on to combat. So whenever they attack a creature, they use savagery and ferocity. Like a chihuahua, they just throw themselves at whatever they're fighting and go in tooth and claw. They do have 2 breath weapons, which, according to the write-up, they use as often as possible and swap between at seemingly random intervals.
Okay.
The first one just deals sonic damage, which would be thunder damage in 5th edition. And the second one is a maddening wail that deals wisdom damage.
Ooh.
To the tune of 1 point per age category.
That adds up pretty quick.
Which means that if you're facing a great worm, that's 12 points of wisdom damage each time you get hit with
most people to 0.
Yeah. Your clerics and druids might survive 1 hit.
Yeah.
And still be functional. Barely functional because that's their spellcasting ability. But
yeah.
Yeah. And so the book actually forgot to give them a range on their breath weapons by default, because I don't think that they were expecting you to ever encounter them outside of Pandemonium.
Okay.
But within Pandemonium, the range is reduced to a 10-foot cone. Because of the howling winds, you're basically deaf to everything around you. You have to get right up next to somebody and shout at them in order for them to hear you.
Yeah. I would make the maddening wail a 30-foot cone. I would be inclined to do the same with the sonic damage or the thunder damage one. Though you could also argue that could be like a 90-foot line given the surroundings.
I'm going to leave it as a cone because it does specify that it's a cone.
Okay.
I would say that the damaging one is probably double the range of the wisdom damage one.
Okay.
And then I would just template the distances off of the ranges for other cone breath weapons that other dragons have of the same age category.
That's fair.
So like if a dragon happens to have a 90-foot cone, then they would have a 90-foot thunder damage cone and a 45-foot maddening wail.
Okay.
Next up, they also have a number of sonic, wind, and insanity-based spells that they can use as spell-like abilities. They have access to Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Shatter, Confusion, Wind Wall, and Phantasmal Killer, among other things.
That last one, oof.
Yeah, I think that one is adult or older.
Gotcha. I would probably give these Mind Sliver 2, which is more of a 5th edition spell, but I think that would fit this theme as well.
Yeah, I left a few spells off of the list because they were 3rd edition spells that didn't make it to 5th edition.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would absolutely be willing to update that. Like, I'd give them Silvery Barbs.
Yeah,
just because as a DM, I don't get to Silvery Barbs my players very often. And it gets annoying whenever they Silvery Barbs my stuff. I'm not bitter.
Note to self, more Silvery Barbs.
You don't even play a bard.
I know.
Anyway, and then finally to wrap things up, with the Howling Dragons, they are immune to sonic damage or thunder damage. They have spell resistance, and all dragons of young age and older get to treat their natural weapons as magical.
See, I don't know if that's an advantage or not. Again, doing our March Madness, again, the fact that, like fire was natural fire versus magical came through a lot. So it would depend on the situation. But I guess magical attacks, by and large, do better.
Well, the verbiage that is used in 3rd edition is they are considered magical for the purposes of overcoming resistances.
Okay.
So I think that they're like, if something is resistant to, there's some where you have to have magical damage in order to overcome the resistance.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that would be a thing where this would come into play.
Okay.
I have words. I can do words.
Word.
All right. Moving along to the next one.
Where we're going to use more words.
Where we can use more words. So this one is from the Tartarian depths of Carceri. So that's on the other side of the abyss, between the abyss and Hades. This is the prison plane. This is the plane where souls are sent specifically for punishment.
Okay.
And so we're going to be talking about the Tartarian Dragon. This is yet another one from the same Dragon magazine issue as the Howling Dragon, issue 300, which was their D&D 26th anniversary issue, and then was reprinted in the 3rd edition Draconomicon. So the way that they're described is being at once jailers and prisoners, because, as I mentioned, Carceri is the prison plane. Yeah. And the whole plane is built on the premise of survival of the fittest. So the fittest individuals will prey upon the weaker, less fit souls that are there. And each time a soul is slain and consumed, they are basically reformed from the essence of the plane into their suffering.
Yes.
With all of the memories of being killed and eaten, by the way.
Of course.
So the Tartarian dragons are these gaunt, skeletal dragons. They've got leathery scales, and their coloration, it's all mottled stripes of like black and gray and white and greens, like olive drab greens. Not exactly colorful, but definitely designed to act like camouflage to hide in the shadows.
So did you say this is an ambush predator?
I would absolutely use them as an ambush predator, yes.
Okay.
Unless the thing that they are going after is notably weaker than them.
Okay.
In which case, they're going to give up on all pretenses and just walk out and eat it.
So the two things I got vibes off of this thing would be, one, Cerberus, obviously like a three-headed hellhound, kind of has that feel, guarding the gates. The other thing is from Blizzard, what is it, the Dreadnought? The Fell Reaver in Old Badlands, in Hellfire Peninsula. Or you'd sit there and you'd just be doing your stuff and the ground would start shaking and this thing was showing up and you had to scatter.
Yeah, and that is sort of the vibe that you get. And then you combine that sort of mottled appearance with the fact that they have these faintly glowing green eyes, and they suddenly look a lot like the dragon at the end of Sleeping Beauty.
Maleficent?
Yeah, the one that Maleficent turns into.
Okay, nice.
Without the purple membranes on the wings. But otherwise, I mean, that same sort of silhouette, that slender, gaunt sort of appearance.
I get to put an Angelina Jolie silhouette on the game board. I'm happy.
So the way that they are described, they are capable of eating literally anything. But their preferred diet is fiendish flesh and condemned souls.
Ooh, imagine having one of these, dropping these in the middle of the Blood War.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be working on the peripheries of the Blood War. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think that they're going to necessarily dive into the heart of the Blood War, into the heart of combat, because that is a lot of demons.
That is a lot of demon.
And I think that they're intelligent enough to realize that if they just waded into that, they could be overwhelmed very quickly.
Fair, but I could see them like wiping out a transport or something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And then the other detail is, so their preferred diet is fiendish flesh and condemned souls, and they do not enjoy eating anything else.
They'll do it, they just don't want to.
Yeah. It's like those days when you wake up and you know you gotta eat something, but nothing is appealing.
Yeah, I hate those days. Or
yeah,
like you're craving something and you can't figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so you just throw together whatever calories you have in the fridge and hope for the best.
It's like, okay, that's a couple hundred calories. I'm good for a while.
Yeah. And so, we've talked a bit in the past about not using the default alignment for dragons. I think this is one where you could pretty easily move away from their default alignment, because the default alignment is neutral evil, chaotic evil,
Okay.
because that's the plane that they're on.
Yeah.
But I think that you could easily have one of these shift way more towards lawful.
Yeah.
I mean, almost to like lawful neutral.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just like a Judge Dredd.
And I'm going to get to that here in a minute. But I feel like if you had one that was lawful neutral, you could probably summon it and bargain with it.
Okay.
To make it sort of a mercenary ally. If you were taking on, say, a fiendish cult, like a demon cult or a devil cult.
Right.
Or say somebody has opened a portal to the Nine Hells, and you just need substantial muscle to just sort of make a huge dent so that you can go and mop up the mess and close the portal.
Okay.
I can see them being a decent ally that you could make with that, because you're basically inviting them to an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah. I could also see these like coming off, and maybe while in the material plane, they are more lawful neutral, but they kind of start to slowly drift back to that chaotic evil or neutral evil. So like they start off as, the prison guard or the sheriff, and they slowly become more and more corrupt over time.
Yeah, because that is one of the things that they talk about, is that whenever they make their way to the material plane, because they are found in all of the layers of Carceri, which are vastly different biomes, they just show up and they plop down wherever they feel like, wherever they feel comfortable. But they often try to manage the surrounding area and bring on that sort of jailhouse vibe that Carceri has. They're trying to make it feel like home, essentially. Yeah. They are creatures native to this plane, and so it is in their nature to try and, recreate their native habitat in this location. And so I can absolutely see a Tartarian dragon being installed as like the warden of an Arkham Asylum style prison for interplanar entities.
Okay.
Like, I can't remember, I think it's the Regulators. There is a faction in Sigil that they are the law enforcement.
Okay.
And they have a prison, like, on the third layer of Carceri. It's this tower that's covered in bloodthorn vines.
Yeah, that's absolutely a dragon lair.
And the only way in and out is through a portal within this faction's headquarters in Sigil. Unless you want to, climb out a window and climb down all of the bloodthorn, which you really don't.
Right. Yeah, this thing's definitely sitting in front of that portal, just chilling.
Yeah, I can definitely see a Tartarian dragon being made the warden of a prison like that.
Okay.
Moving on to combat and its combat abilities. When it enters combat, it tries to keep fights one-on-one whenever possible. It tries to avoid, getting ganged up on, which is another reason why I say it's not going to be going after, entire cadres of demons marching to the Blood War, even though it wants to eat them.
Okay, it's just going to pick off and snack.
Yeah, it will circle around and pick off stragglers all day long.
It's like eating grapes. It's not going to shove the whole bunch into its face. It's going to pluck them one at a time.
Yeah. And so, like Howling Dragons, their natural weapons are also considered magical.
Okay.
I think the big reason why that was really important in 3rd edition is because demons and devils were typically resistant or immune to non-magical damage.
Yeah, and anything spectral.
Yeah, and so because they are living in the lower planes where they're surrounded by these fiends, they need to be able to actually deal damage to them with their natural weapons.
Yeah.
So they use their breath weapons to weaken up their enemies if they're having to face a group of them. So the first one that they have is called a Line of Disruptive Force. It deals force damage. Like with the Howling Dragons, I don't have a range for it. I would say probably like a 60 to 90 foot line, depending on the age of the dragon, the size of the dragon.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what it means by disruptive. I'm not sure if they're just using it as a descriptor here or if it has any sort of mechanical significance. Basically, how I would run it is that creatures that it hit, if they are maintaining concentration, they would end up getting disadvantage on their concentration check.
That would be fair. Like when I picture a line of disruptive force, I picture almost something almost seismic, but that makes perfect sense.
And then the other breath weapon that they have is a cone of will-sapping gas.
Ew.
So any target who fails their saving throw takes a -2 penalty on all of their rolls, attacks, saves, checks, and damage rolls for 1 round per age category.
I'd probably just switch that to disadvantage on all of that too.
Yeah, I mean, for 5th edition, yes.
Yeah.
Because, again, this is 3rd edition where everything was +1s, -2s. You had to keep a spreadsheet to know where all your bonuses were coming from.
Yeah, I miss those tables.
So they also happen to have resistance to force damage, a bonus on saving throws against force effects. So that means things like forced movement, getting knocked prone, all of that. And by default, they have freedom of movement.
Okay.
So that means that they cannot be affected by any magic that would impede movement, such as hold monster, paralysis effects, slow, and web.
So yeah, your bard that wants to tie up the dragon just realized freedom of movement.
Yep. If it works for your barbarian, it works for the dragon.
There is no safe word.
Yeah. Oh, doubly so because additionally they get a bonus to saving throws against charms and other compulsion effects, both magical and mundane.
Good times.
Yeah, so in 3rd edition it is a +4 bonus because that's the size of all of these bonuses by default. So yeah, that would be they have advantage against charm and compulsion effects.
Yeah.
And then finally they have a number of other fun force spells, things like Odaluk's Resilient Sphere and Force Cage.
Force Cage can be nasty.
Yes. Yeah. You drop a Force Cage over them and then you drop a Cloud Kill on them.
Yeah. Or just leave them in the Force Gibbet and they're just hanging in Force forever.
No, because Force Cage does expire.
Eventually, yeah.
I think it takes an hour, but Force Cage does expire. But yeah, that is Tartarian dragons. I like them. I think that they're really, really an interesting thing. I think that the concept that they pulled out for them doesn't fit the plane that they're putting them into.
Yeah,
I don't think that neutral to chaotic evil fits this sort of jailer vibe.
Now, see,
personally.
Again, as I said, this would actually be a good corruption arc, and I do get this feel because they say power corrupts and total power corrupts totally. So, like I said, I would see this jailer that, initially was put in that was neutral, and then slowly becomes power hungry and corrupts, and then becomes, the immediate trope of the warden that's absolutely corrupt and running the prison as their own kingdom or like a forced labor camp type thing because they have delved that far. And so they take the party a little further with them each step.
Yeah, but honestly, I think that they would fit better in Gehenna.
Yeah.
Between neutral evil and lawful evil.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely lawful evil.
Yeah, I think that they fit better on that side.
Yeah.
Personally.
No, I agree.
So now we move into the Abyss. Like I said, we've got 3 dragons in the Abyss. The first one is obviously a dragon. The other 2 are kind of eldritch horrors.
Okay. Dragon adjacent.
Yeah, we'll get to them in a minute. We're going to start off with this first one, the Frost-Forged Worm. I can't say for certain that they first showed up in 4th edition, but that was the first place I was able to find them.
Okay.
And because the 4th edition stuff was all published under a weird... It wasn't published under OGL 1.0. They came up with their own new gaming license whenever they released 4th edition because they were planning on having that digital tabletop to go with it that never materialized.
Oh, look, it's vaporware.
And so because of that, one, you're not going to find 4th edition official stuff on the internet because it is all going to be considered protected IP and they're going to, issue takedown notices if they find it up on the internet. And
like I said, it's the dark times.
And for 2, because it was 4th edition and it was this different game license, you didn't have a whole bunch of third-party content creators making stuff for it.
And people didn't like it.
And so with the OGL being used for 3rd edition and 5th edition, there is a glut of information on both of those.
Yeah.
4th edition, it's crickets. I was able to find a digital copy finally of the 4th edition Draconomicon that these are from, because it was from the Draconomicon 1, I think, which is the chromatic dragons.
Okay.
Both the Frostforged Worm and the last one that we're going to be talking about, the Death Mask Dragon, both of those were in that book.
That's all for being able to dredge up a 4th edition book. Well done.
But Frostforged Worms started life as white dragons. They're white dragons that were dragged into the abyss, and then the demons decided to modify them.
It's the island of Dr. Monroe.
That's Dr. Moreau.
Was it Dr. Moreau?
Yes.
Okay.
But basically, they're giving them the Deathwing treatment.
Yeah, they really are.
No, literally, because they have these huge plates of cold iron that they nail directly to their scales.
Yeah, it's kind of like horseshoes, but on the skin.
Yes. Yeah. Unlike with horseshoes, because horseshoes are driven through the keratin, which has no nerve endings in it. I mean, it's basically just thick fingernail. These are, giant steel spikes that are going through these plates, through their scales, directly into their flesh.
They don't like it.
No. I guess this is probably the point. Probably should have happened about 30 seconds ago, where I should say there is body horror squick content warnings from here on out for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, let's throw that content warning out there.
Yeah, because this is the light version. The other two get a little more squicky, honestly. And it's on track for the Abyss, because the Abyss is chaotic evil.
Right.
It is the chaos of evil. It is evil for the sake of chaos.
And they revel in the pain and discomfort they cause.
Yes, absolutely. And so, actually, as a mechanical effect, a demon can actually hammer in a spike that is working its way loose, because they do work their way loose, because the dragon is constantly trying to rip these plates off of it. But it has this cadre of these little demons that are constantly scurrying and scrambling across it, driving the spikes back in to keep the plates from coming off as they go. As a mechanical effect, a demon can hammer in a spike to deal 1d10 damage to the dragon and allow it to make a melee attack as a reaction.
Now, see, I kind of like white dragons as a dragon anyway, because again, they're more bestial, so again, they're more puppyish, and they're not quite friend-shaped. But these actually make me feel like really bad for these things. I'm like, dude, I seriously want to save the dragon. I want to save the Dagron. And yes, it's a white Dagron. Probably going to try to eat my face. But I want to save the puppy.
Honestly, yeah. And I did put that in my notes that this would be an excellent opportunity for a dragon redemption arc.
Yeah.
So, if you were able to slay all of the demons that are crawling across this thing and help it remove the plates, you could end up with a very powerful white dragon ally.
I want a white dragon puppy.
So, because they're white dragons, they have all the white dragon stuff. They have a cold breath weapon. They're immune to cold. But I guess because of the cold iron, or because of the demons or something, they have actually lost their vulnerability to fire.
Interesting.
Everything else appears to be the same. I did find where somebody, I think it was Dungeon Dad, did a 5e homebrew version of this dragon, and they had given them a legendary action where I think it was 3 legendary action points they basically just thrash around, and they deal a melee attack damage to everything within 10 feet of them.
That makes sense. I'm kind of seeing something like the Thagomizer on the Stegosaurus. It's that weird double-ended spike on its tail, and it just swings that around.
Yes, that does fit the vibe pretty substantially. And one of the other suggestions that I found, because I also found where someone was talking about it on a forum post from 20 years ago, but talking about how using them because in 4th edition you had solo monsters, where there were monsters that were specifically designed to solo a party.
Yeah.
And treating one of these as a solo monster, where whenever you would hit it and deal a sufficient amount of damage to it, demons would fall off of it as minions that you would have to then contend with.
That's kind of like the zombie T-Rex from Tomb of Annihilation, where it just
Yes.
like flops zombies out of its face.
Absolutely, yeah. I was looking through, I would say, depending on what level your party is and what CR you're going with, I would say use demons that are about a third of the CR of the dragon.
Okay.
So, like, if you're doing an ancient white dragon as the base for this, where it's going to be like CR 16 to 18, something like that, use something in the CR 5 to 6 range for these demons. But, like, make a bunch of them, like
Yeah.
15, 20 of these things. One option that I found when I was looking through the different demons that are available that I think would work pretty well are Vrox. They're vulture demons.
Ooh, interesting.
So they're CR6, they're able to fly, and they are known for being uncharacteristically cooperative for demons.
That would make
Like
sense.
they will act together as a flock.
Okay.
And so I think that with all of that together, them being able to fly, them being cooperative with one another, I think that they would work well as the demons that are crawling across this poor dragon, driving the spikes back in.
Yeah. Now with this too, remind me, minion rules with this means they all have 1 hit point, right?
It means that they all have 1 hit point, and it means that if they save for half damage, they take no damage.
Okay.
And there were also powerful minion rules where it was like 2 hits or 3 hits for the minion instead of just the 1-hit minions.
Okay.
But yeah, predominantly you would scale up their attack and damage bonuses to allow them to remain a threat to the party, but you only give them 1 hit point.
I like it. This makes me want to make like a necromancer bard that summons a bunch of minions. We'll call them 1-hit wonders.
Yeah. Okay. That's the end of the Frostforge Worm.
I feel bad for that one. I really I want to save the
Yes.
puppy. I totally want to go in and save the puppy.
Yeah. The next one, this is one that did appear in 3rd edition. I think they also appeared in the same 4th edition Draconomicon issue 1 or Draconomicon number 1 or whatever the title is. And these are Chole dragons. Chole.
They're cloaca dragons.
They might as well be. They first appeared in Dragon issue number 344. There have been a few other dragons that we have talked about that also appeared in that issue. But these are essentially the Eldritch Horror Dragons of the Abyss.
Okay.
They don't have wings, they have tentacles.
Yeah, I kind of like this thing.
So they are this black and red mass of tentacles, spines, and poor life choices.
Fair.
Because they will attack anything on sight. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's an adventurer, if it is one of the manes, which are like the little CR 1/2 demons. It doesn't matter if it's a demon prince. They see it, they're throwing hands or tentacles.
It's a hentai dragon.
Yeah, it pretty much. Yeah. And so they always have either 4, 7, 9, or 13 tentacles.
Those are weird numbers just to randomly come up with.
They are. I'm not sure the significance of that. I'm sure that there's probably a numerology reason behind it, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
So the number of tentacles they have is irrespective of size or age. They never get more tentacles. They never get fewer tentacles. However many tentacles they have when they hatch, that's how many they got.
All right.
And despite however many tentacles it only has direct control over 2 tentacles at any given time.
So does that mean it only purposefully attacks with 2 and the rest attack randomly, or it only can attack with 2?
I'm glad you asked, because what that means is that it can choose to exclude up to 2 valid targets in attack range from its attacks.
Okay.
Everything else it attacks at random.
Fair. Just roll the die. And you, and you.
So the number of tentacles it has also determines the damaging features of the tentacles.
Okay.
So if it's got 4 tentacles, they're covered in these bony ridges that deal slashing damage. If they have 7 tentacles, they're covered with needle-like spines and deal piercing damage. If they have 9 tentacles, they have both.
Ew.
So they deal both slashing and piercing damage. And if they have 13 tentacles, they have, and I quote, thick, pulpy tumors.
Yum.
And deal bludgeoning damage.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah. And so in addition to the spines and tentacles, they also have a number of glowing abyssal runes that just sort of appear on their body in random places.
I like it.
And every so often, one of them will fade out and then reappear somewhere else on its body. And the number of runes on its body correspond to the number of tentacles it has. So like a 4-tentacle dragon will have 4 runes on it. And regardless of how many runes there are, the runes that are present will never combine to actually spell out a word.
Okay.
They are gibberish.
Interesting. Kind of weird, but okay.
I'm not sure why they decided on that particular detail, but they decided on that particular detail. Next up, they are mute. They are incapable of speech. They are incapable of making any mouth sounds, including like roars.
So it's just a giant, violent puddle of tentacly good pudding.
Yeah.
Okay, this is weird. This is kind of weird. Kind of like it, but it's kind of weird.
So they have one breath weapon, only one, and it is a cloud of poisonous insanity vapors.
Ooh.
So if the target fails their con save, fort save in 3rd edition, they take wisdom and charisma damage.
Ooh, we get the double dip.
It starts off with wormlings at 1d2 damage and goes all the way up to great worms at 4d6.
Yeah, that's 24 points of constitution or wisdom and charisma damage.
Yeah.
You're cooked.
Yeah, that's 14 on average.
Yeah, you're cooked.
And because it was 3rd edition, if you failed your initial save, you had to make another save 1 minute later or you suffered the effects again.
Oh, God, 3rd edition was brutal. I love it.
It was. And so there was a homebrew that I found. This is not included in the original stat block, but there was a homebrew that I found that said that the only way to cure this poison was to drink the blood of the Chol dragon that poisoned you.
Okay.
So do with that what you will.
Yeah, I mean, you could poke and then lick the knife. Maybe.
Assuming that that's enough blood.
Right.
I mean, this is the abyss we're talking about.
You have to drink the whole dragon.
Yeah, you have to full on carry this thing.
Bottoms up.
Yeah.
But it's a 20-foot by 20-foot monster. Start chugging.
Mama didn't raise no quitter. So, yeah, those are troll dragons. I think that they decided that they needed something cool for a game, and they decided to, just throw all of these things together, because in the lore, they're like, yeah, they exist on this one particular layer of the abyss. We don't know if they make hordes and stuff, because nobody who goes in there comes out sane, if they come out at all.
Fair.
And then the last one we have the Death Mask Dragon.
It's a bleach dragon.
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
So they were also found in the 4th edition Draconomicon Chromatic Dragons. Unfortunately, they didn't actually include any artwork for it.
You're not dissuading me that it's a bleach dragon.
So they supposedly look a little bit like a purple dragon, so the deep dragons that we talked about like a few dragon episodes ago. But kind of if you crossed it with a Bahir. So that long, skinny danger noodle with a whole bunch of extra legs.
Yeah.
Except that they have a lot of extra legs.
Again, not dissuading me from a bleach dragon.
So they have these long, slender bodies that are supported by dozens of centipede-like legs. And the legs don't just naturally grow from the body. Instead, they punch through the flesh. They burst out of the flesh, and they leave this black ichor behind whenever they walk around. And they have
squeaky.
Yeah, I told you these are.
Yeah, that's
body horror, man.
Yeah,
it gets worse. I'm gonna make it quick, but it gets worse. They have these tiny black wings that look too small to actually get it airborne, but it is able to use them to fly completely normally. Because of course it does.
It's not the size that counts.
And it feels like it was the thematic successor to the Gloom Dragon.
That's the one that makes the tombstones, right?
Yes, actually, I
Yeah.
think it was the
With the
one in
bird beak?
Hades.
Yeah. Gloom Dragon's kind of badass.
Let me look at my notes. Yes, Gloom Dragon, which was also in Dragon 344. So the same as the Chol Dragon. But it feels like it was the thematic successor to that because I don't think the Gloom Dragon made it into that Draconomicon, or if it did, I wasn't looking for it, so I didn't find it. But each time it slays a living creature, it devours the creature's essence and incorporates it into its body.
Ooh. Now, jumping back to the Gloom Dragon real quick, I had
Uh-huh.
said then it kind of reminds me of the Sketis, but I was finally able to remember what it reminded me of actually. And if you ever play Slay the Spire, it is one of the optional bosses of the third level. They have something that looks very similar to that Gloom Dragon.
Yeah. And I think you meant Skeksis.
Skeksis, yeah.
Yeah, Sketis is a zone in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I get those mixed with the little bird critters in there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good. We're all good. And then the twisted, leering faces of its victims peer out between the dragon scales.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm trying to think. It's one of those supernatural horror, like thriller kind of movies. It had like a wall where the faces would come out of this flesh-like wall.
Gotcha. I know what you're talking about. I've seen versions of that. The other thing
Yeah.
I was thinking of is if you've ever played the Xbox 360 version of Dante's Inferno.
Yes.
You've got walls that are made up of the Wailing Dead, and they're all like twisted into wall. Yeah,
Absolutely.
The art in that game is amazing.
It is. It really was.
Yeah.
I played through it once, and then I went to start a second playthrough, and then I never actually... Because once you finish it, you can do like a replay plus where you get to go through and unlock everything, and I just never got around to actually doing that.
Yeah, I need to replay that. That's definitely on my list of things to revisit. And to see if Steam has it.
So, talking about whenever it goes into combat, and talking about your Wailing Dead, it begins combat by using its ability, Wail of Death.
There you go.
So, because it was 4th edition and they used weird targeting things, it was all creatures in, I think it's burst 5, so a 25-foot square that is in range 10. So you drop this 25-foot square anywhere within 50 feet of the dragon.
Okay.
Any creature that was in that fails the saving throw on it takes psychic damage. And until it saves, whenever the affected creature deals damage to a target, it takes half of that damage as psychic damage to itself.
Oh my.
So like if you fail your saving throw and then you charge in and you attack the dragon with your greatsword and you deal 12 points of damage, you take 6 points of psychic damage for having hit the dragon.
So do you just go ahead and go full creep with the dragon and it likes getting hit? It's like, hit me again, senpai.
I mean, you could play it like that.
Yeah, that would be... I mean, if we're going to go squick, let's go full squick.
Because it does also have the ability Mask of Dread, which basically every turn it is able to target one of the creatures that maybe was outside of the range or resisted the Wail of Death. It gets to just target one creature and say, yeah, until my next turn, you take half psychic damage anytime you hit something.
Okay.
No save. It just does it.
Just does it. Yeah, that's... yeah. Oh, God, I can make that so creepy and wrong and terrible, and there's so much wrong with this.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be found in the Human Centipede. This is what this was.
I mean, it is a centipede made out of humans, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let that one sink in.
Ah, no, we're good. Let's move on.
Yeah. And then the last bit that I have on it, so it has a single breath weapon as well. It deals necrotic damage, and it blinds creatures for 1 round if they fail their save.
That's like the least thing to worry about.
Yeah, because now you can't see the horrifying thing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, fine. I'll take some necrotic. I mean, can I deafen myself too so I can't hear this thing? Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is bad.
Yeah, just given the nature of both the Death Mask and the Chol Dragons, I don't have any use for them outside of the Abyss.
Yeah.
They can keep their happy asses in the Abyss where they belong. They can stay there away from me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the end of what I have for today. So
all right, we made it.
We
Wasn't
absolutely
necessarily.
did.
Well, it was a little bit of a shorter episode. We
Yeah, a
can
little
we can
bit.
do some more rabbit trails. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll see how far it knocks down whenever I edit it. But yeah, I mean, raw audio is about an hour 15, so
Yeah.
we'll see how much it compresses down. We'll
Probably
see
45.
how many of the rabbit trails I edit out to get it under an hour.
All of them. 10 minutes later.
Right. But yeah, so that's this batch of dragons. I think the next batch of the Extraplanar dragons. Do you want to go chaos side or law side on the upper planes?
You know what my response is going to be.
Hey, your response is going to be chaos, woohoo.
Exactly.
So, but
just say it with me.
But the question is, do you want to do that next, or do you want to finish on chaos?
Oh, yeah, see, again, there's that. It's the marshmallow question. Yeah, let's go ahead and do lawful first.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll start in Mechanus and work our way around, because there is some sort of like clockwork dragon thing, I think.
Dude, I love it. I love clockwork stuff.
And if it isn't clockwork, I'm going to make it clockwork, because it needs to be clockwork, because it's all cogs. Mechanus is cogs.
It's all the steampunk.
Yeah, it's modrons and cogs and just all kinds of
wheels and whirring bits.
Yeah, it needs to be clockwork.
Yeah, headcanon clockwork done.
Yep.
If there's not a clockwork dragon, we're making one. Damn it.
Yeah. So I don't know that will be the next episode. I think we'll probably have a filler in between. Okay. But yeah, that will be the next dragon episode. Will be the lawful side of the upper planes. And I think that wraps us up for today. So thank you everyone for listening. If you have any comments, suggestions, or ideas, please send us an email undercommontaste@gmail.com or come and join us on our Discord. You can find a link to the Discord as well as all of our currently unused social media. I have not updated any of our social media in a very long time. But you can find links to all of them anyway, as well as our Patreon and our itch page, undercommontaste.itch.io, through our website, undercommontaste.com.
If this is your first time listening, we're very glad you found us. You can find our other episodes on podcatcher of choice. Just search Undercommon Taste. As always, give us a rate and review. And also, you can join me on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on twitch.tv/undercommontaste, where I will be resuming our gaming adventures. We are going to finish up Darkest Dungeon and continue our adventure into Neverwinter Nights.
Stay safe, everyone, and we will see you again in 2 weeks.
Happy gaming.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Undercommon Taste. Our theme song is Massacre Ann, written and performed by Mary Kroll and used with permission. You can find Mary online at marykroll.bandcamp.com or on Patreon at patreon.com/Dr. Mary C. Kroll. Our logo is by David Sutherland. You can find more of David's work on deviantart.com/David Sutherland or on instagram.com/Willex_73. We'll be back in 2 weeks, so stay safe and we'll see you then.